Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know by now I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're taking a look at a new product I've just purchased and I'm experimenting with it. And what we're looking at here is the Feelworld LivePro1 mixer. It's a live streaming mixer and it's designed for actually live streaming as opposed to what I'm using it for. I'm using it for vision mixing. In the old days, that's what I used to do. I was a vision mixer, and it's a great product. But it's quite an interesting product as well as being a great product. I'm not so sure it will work in my workflow, but I'm actually using the LivePro mixer. You can see there, I'm switching between the different cameras. So I'm using the T-bar to switch. So now it will go over to camera 1. And you can see there I was actually looking at the mixer, we're now looking back at camera 1. It's a 4-channel input mixer, which is great, 4 HDMI inputs. So now we'll go over to, say, channel 4. So let's take it over to channel 4. And that's now the wide angle shot, which is coming off my Sony A7R Mark III with a Tamron 20mm lens on. So and that's great that you can mix between the different angles. I'm using the T-bar because I found when I did straight cuts, they weren't clean cuts. It tended to flicker a little bit, and I don't know if that's because I haven't got it set up right, but using the T-bar you get a nice clean cut. You can also set up, if we go into the mixer, so what you do really, because I've got it set up with a T-bar, you push what channel you want to go to. So I'm going to select channel 2 and it starts flashing. And then you can go over to channel 2 using the T-bar, and I've got my computer set up for it, which is great. And that's great for me reviews because quite often I'll show images of photographs that I've taken and I need to use a computer input. So that's quite handy for that. So I can choose whatever I want to choose, go into that. Let's make that full screen again. And obviously it will record everything, but you know, I'm feeding through from a computer, which is absolutely outstanding. But the audio is still coming from, let's go back to channel 1. So I'm going to hit button 1 and then take the T-bar over, and we're now back to channel 1, which is the main camera, my Sony A7C, which has got the 85mm lens on. But the audio is going through channel 1, so it's going into the A7C using my Lark 150, Hollyland Lark 150 radio mic, which I've got on here. That's going through the HDMI out of the A7C channel 1 into the Feelworld mixer, and then obviously onto the master, which is my Atomos Ninja Flame. So we'll go back to channel 4, which brings you back to a wide shot, and you can see there how the quality is really good. It's only HD, it's not 4K, but I mean HD's absolutely fine for what I do. I mean, I upload in HD anyway. I actually film in 4K, but always upload in HD. So that to me is great, and it's pre-edited. Now, the downside I'm already beginning to see, just doing this quick review, is that you haven't got any margin of error. So if you get it wrong in the mix, well, that's what's going down on the master. So it is what it is. For a live event, you can live with that, but I'm a bit finicky. That's why when I do my filming, I use the 3, 4, 5 cameras, whatever, and then I can choose when I edit what angle I want to use. I can cut out different angles. I can make it a lot tidier. But if I make a cock up now, that ends up on the master tape, which is years ago. We used to film theatre shows, and that's exactly how we used to do it. And if it was a cock up, well, you know, you lived with it. We've got now with modern technology, we don't need to live with it. We can actually cut it out and start again. But it's great feature. And as I say, this is a great little mixer. Now it's got a little 2.5-inch display, and you can see there, you can see the different inputs for 4 inputs. So you've got camera 1, you've got the computer signal, you've got the wide shot, and then you've got the overhead shot, which is obviously, you know, what we're looking at. And so we're on channel 3, which is obviously the overhead shot of the Feelworld LivePro1. And the next channel we're going to go to, it flashes. So you know the guy who's doing, or girl who's doing the vision mixing knows what channel they're going to cut to. So if we want to cut to, say, the computer, just hit number 2, and that will then cut, as I move a T-bar over, which I'll do in just a minute, that will cut to the computer signal. So if we do that now, you see now it's cut straight to the computer signal. Now I'm going to go back to channel 1, which is, I've hit the button, it's flashing. So as I go over, we're now back on channel 1, which is the main camera with the 85mm lens on, where I'm getting the tight shot. And you know, I can see it on the main monitor. I'm pretty well framed, and I mean, it could be quite handy if I had the main monitor somewhere just in front of me, then I wouldn't have to look at the screen there. So you know, and also if you've got somebody else doing the vision mixing, which is great, you could actually have the main monitor so that person can see it easier than what I can, because I'm looking at the cameras in this direction, but the main monitor's over in this direction, as it were. But you know, a useful piece of kit. Now it's got 2 output modes. Now let's go back to the actual device. And well, there we go. Now you need to really label up the what camera is on what input, because otherwise you might go to the wrong device, which I have done. I've gone to the wide shot, which is fine for this review. But if that was in reality, and you know, you needed to go to the shot of the actual device or whatever it is you're doing, then it would be handy to have the a little sticky label, I guess, camera 1, 2, 3 and 4, as to what they are. But I now know I should have been on camera 3, and there we go. Now we've come back to the overhead shot of the actual device. Now this device has got 4 HDMI inputs on the back here. So you plug your 4 sources, generally speaking would be cameras, I guess, but your 4 sources into your HDMI and your computer signal. Now in the manual, it shows the computer signal going into HDMI 2. I've actually put it into HDMI 2. I don't know if it needs to be. I can't see why it would, but hey ho. So that's the computer signal going into 2. Then I've got 3 cameras going into 1, 2, 3 and 4, and it's got a HDMI output. Now that HDMI output can be figured in various ways. You can either figure it as master output, which is what I have, hence the reason you've got the master screen going, we call it program out. So the program out is going into my Atomos recorder via HDMI, but it also can be preview out. You can go into the display here and you can set it up as to what you want it to do, whether it be preview out or whether you want it to be you know, master out. Preview out basically gives you the 4 screens. So I'm trying to remember where that is in here, but it might be under setup. It's probably under setup. So you go into setup and you can go down the different HDMI in, let's have a look, input, that's inputs, HDMI, USB 3 audio, reset info. Let's go into HDMI, right, output. So at the moment we've got it set to program out, as you can clearly see, program out there, but you can set it to preview out. So we'll do that, see if it works. Now that's set to preview, and you've got all your, so what you're seeing now, which is great, you've got your wide shot, which is that one there, you've got the overhead shot, close-up shot and the computer screen, and then you can see what you're going to be going to. So you've got your preview out and master out. Obviously that's no use for me. It's fine for this review because you can see what this machine can do, but I'm going to reset that now to be program out because I don't want that to be preview out. So let's go back to HDMI, let's go back to output, and now we go back to program, and now we're back in program out, which is great. Also the master audio, you might have noticed if you into this sort of thing, the audio is constant. It's not flickering between the different camera angles or different audio inputs depending on what camera I'm on. It's constant. So I've got it set that the audio follows channel 1. So regardless of what channel I push, the audio will come through on channel 1, which is brilliant, you know, and I really like that. It's great for what I want to use. It takes up very little hard drive space because it's HD, which means I can fill the hard drive with much more content, as opposed to, you know, keep having to buy new hard drives. And, you know, I've got stacks of them stored, you know, in different places. So it's great from that point of view. And I say, other than the flicker, that's why I'm using the T-bar, because I have noticed it does flicker as you move between the different channels, and I don't know why it's doing that. It might be something in the setting. But, you know, a great little device. I did say it's designed primarily for live streaming, and I haven't done any of that because I don't do live streaming, but it has got USB 3 output. So you can output to, and it's also got Ethernet output. So you can output to your computer, and you can output to OBS, which is the apparently the software that most people use, or a lot of people use, for streaming content. And it's also got, using the USB out, you can use program out on one of them and preview out on either HDMI, either or. So I could have actually taken the USB out and done preview out to the computer using the software, but it all needs setting up, and I haven't set that up. I'm purely playing with it because I've got here the computer being used as an input channel going via HDMI. So you know, it's a flexible piece of kit, and the quality looks pretty damn decent, doesn't it? You know, I've got no complaints with the quality at all. I'm pretty pleased with the quality. And of course the Atmos recorders, because it takes HDMI input, is great. Is really good. So yeah, very useful piece of kit, and I think I will be using this a great deal more. I do need to get a lot more used to how how it works with switching between the different cameras, and I ought to label them up so I know what camera's doing what. And flipping cats, and you know, it's a great piece of kit. I can see it being very handy for people that want to do live streaming, don't just want to use one camera. This is very useful for using more than one camera. As I said, it's got 4 inputs, so you could have 3 cameras, which is what I have, and then you could have you know, either 3 cameras plus a computer input, so, or 4 cameras. Tremendously flexible, and, you know, really well priced. Very well priced. I mean, here in the UK, between 250 to 300 quid on Amazon. I will put a link in the description below to my Amazon affiliate page, so you can actually order this if you wanted to via Amazon. It's a really good price on Amazon, and they have a really good returns policy. If for any reason that you don't get on with it, or it doesn't work the way you would like it to work, you can return it, no quibbles. So that's why I recommend Amazon and use Amazon. So there we go. That is the Feelworld. Well, it's actually just an introduction to the Feelworld LivePro1. If we go back to it, there, it's an introduction to this LivePro1. And, you know, I think it's a very useful piece of kit. I do like the fact that it's got a built-in little 2.5-inch monitor, so you can see the 4 inputs. You can see if any of the signals die on you, and I think that's really handy. And it's also got audio in and audio out, so it's got a headphone out jack and audio in jack, if you want to feed the audio directly into it. I'm a bit nervous about that because let's go back to, I'd be a bit nervous about feeding the audio separately into the unit, because I don't know about syncing issues. I know with a HDMI it should be perfectly in sync, because it's coming into the camera. You know, the audio from my radio mic is going straight into camera number 1, with HDMI going straight out into the mixer. So the audio should be perfectly in sync. But I'm a bit nervous if I took the audio in directly into the unit. It might not be in sync. But that's more things that I need to play with. But, you know, it's a dual thing. It's a vision mixer if you're going out on location. I've got a friend I sold one of my businesses to, which was filming amateur production shows, and he's really interested in looking at this for mixing on site rather than having to do post editing when he gets back to the studio. So it could well be a useful piece of equipment for that sort of scenario, as well as live streaming is what it's actually designed to do. And that's something that I've not played with. It has actually got on the side here, on the side of the unit, it has got a little mounting bracket, a screw thread mounting, so you can actually mount it to a tripod or mount it to some sort of bracket, lighting stand maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's well configured. It's also got under effects, you've got a plethora of different effects that you can do, swipes and fades and all sorts. So I've got it to cut, so it just simply cuts. But you can do you can create different effects that you want to set. If I had it set to that, I don't know what that does, but we shall soon see. So if we go now to camera 3, oh, that's still good. Oh, there we go. I've got picture in picture. Look at that. I've got picture in picture right in the centre there. So we don't want picture in picture. We'll take that off. That's of no good to us at all. Now my brain is starting to get to grips with camera 1 is on channel 1, but I've put the wide camera on input 4. Now that would have been more sensible to put it in channel 2, wouldn't it? And then the computer in channel 4, which would be the last input. That would make a lot more logical sense. So the 3 cameras would have been master channel 1, the wide channel 2, overhead shot channel 3, and then the computer channel 4. That would have made so much more sense. But alas, I didn't. So there you go. Yeah, very configurable, and a very useful piece of kit. I actually do enjoy it. I think before I do my next video, I'm going to reset the configuration so I know I'm a bit happy with how it's set up. But yeah, that's just an introduction to the Feelworld LivePro1. I hope you enjoyed this video. A bit different to my normal videos. This isn't quite as slick as my normal ones because I'm doing it live. But I hope you enjoy my channel and enjoy watching these videos. And if you do, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. It really helps me grow the channel. Really appreciate that. And hit the like button if you found the content of this video useful. I will be doing more videos on the Feelworld LivePro1 when I've got a lot more used to it. I've only had it a couple of days, so this is just a purely. I was just really keen to get it out of the box and see what it could do. And I think there's a lot that it can do, and there could be quite a bit that could benefit my YouTube channel and benefit my business. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography, and thanks very much for watching this again. Cheers for now. Bye.